Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Thoughts with Fara. Continuing on with this series of however long until I run out of ideas, about elements that were in Planetside 1 but are not quite in Planetside 2, and maybe they have a home. So today I want to talk about the ant and its roles and features and what it might actually add to the game. So let's go in. So here we have my ant. Now, the ant isn't new. There was an ant in Planetside 1, except in Planetside 1 it had a very specialized niche role. The ant's sole purpose in the game was to refuel bases. Every major facility, so for example a biolab, a tech plant, that type of stuff, had a fuel supply, and it was known as Nanites or NTU. And that fuel supply would slowly dwindle upon usage of a base, auto self-repair, spawning, vehicle pulls. It would take a long time to run out, but it would need to be refueled, and if you failed to refuel a base, it would go neutral, essentially fourth faction neutral, and then anyone with a lattice link at the time could then take that. Under currently Planetside 2, I guess anyone could take the base. So how does an ant work now in Planetside 2? Well, it's a construction vehicle. It is named as an homage to the original ant, but its role is entirely different. As an ant we have here, we harvest cortium. Oh, like our good demonstration is happening right now. Harvests cortium, fills up its fuel supply, and then he goes off and builds bases, or builds constructibles. That is its purpose. It's a building vehicle, so I guess the ant terminology is actually quite apt. Now, how did that differ perhaps, say, in Planetside 1, you say? Well, if I am to bring up now overlay, this is the old tech plant that we're seeing. And the old tech plant had turrets on the points. There used to be shield modules kind of blocking the entry. The NTU silo is this little guy here. I realize this is a tiny little photo. And anyway, I'm just trying to show that the old bases had designated space for refilling. It had elements that would auto-repair when they were damaged. So for example, if you have a tower right now in Planetside 1 at a base, it would use up the internal fuel supply to replenish. And we also have these ammo towers. So ammo towers at a base, as we're looking right here in the middle, could act as a refueling point, as hypothetically. So what would that do, or what would that bring to the game? Why would you want to bring that in? Well, I'll show you how it kind of worked originally here in Planetside 1. This is a video from Terran Knight. I'll put the link in the description, but he aptly puts it down because you don't have access to Planetside 1 anymore. You grab an ant, case in point, we see this in the middle of the screen here, and you go into, originally to refill, you went into the Warpgate. Now Warpgates were not based at the time, and you see he's deployed, and he's now refilling the ant. The ant is now full, so we can see down here that he has an NTU level, his kind of fuel level, his vehicle health, and he is now driving to the base, as we're going right now, with a full ant from the Warpgate, so that's quite a journey, and we can see that he is moving towards the NTU silo. So this is the fuel section, and it's warning us that it's low with the spinning red light, and we can see its levels, similar to a cortium silo in the construction system right now. The ant then approaches the silo, you then deploy the ant, and it takes its fuel and turns it back. So it's not like I'll hold down left click with the current construction system, it just auto refills. You can get out the vehicle and walk away and do whatever you want. So how could that be useful in our current game mechanic? Well, for example, look at this biolab. Big fight, 1 or 2 platoons, heavily contesting over the biolab, lots of kind of combat going on. Another game mechanic to try and bleed out a long stationary fight could be a fuel mechanic. Now, we're looking for more ways of using cortium. Now, the new fancy tank that they announced, the Colossus, they were thinking of making it cortium fueled, giving additional functionality to the ant and additional roles. How interesting would it be if you had a huge stockpile of a base of a fuel, and in heavy combat, when you're spawning or vehicle spawning or auto regeneration, it would slowly drain that fuel amount. I mean, it might take a long time. There's a balancing element there. Maybe this is not a fun mechanic. I'm just throwing it out there, but then when it got near neutral, when it did run empty, it would flip neutral because you didn't refill it. So the defending faction then has to get an ant that has been filled with cortium and needs to make it to one of the kind of vehicle resupply terminals to refill the fuel supply. So the attackers need to make sure that nobody does that. So one of the really awesome elements that used to happen in Planetside 1 is that you used to be able to actually put an ant inside a galaxy to travel the long distances, and the attacking team has the whole kind of courtyard covered. So you would fly in with your galaxy and you would drop the ant at the silo, or maybe you would fly in with two galaxies, one in front of the other, because the first one would take all the AA flak and it would blow off or die, and then the second would come in. But then maybe someone drops at the first galaxy and fires an EMP or grenades to get rid of all the mines and everything, and the second galaxy comes and drops the ant and then deploys for emergency resupply. These are small niche mission caveat things that used to happen in Planetside 1, and don't get me wrong, I understand Planetside 1 has lots of issues and problems, but it's that style of kind of counter-ops gameplay, small-scale issues that can affect the larger combat thing, which were really engaging and entertaining. So this is why I bring it up on my third episode now. There are certain, maybe it doesn't need to be all bases, but maybe larger facilities, larger outposts or something like that, or bastions or defensive areas that are hard to get through should have a fuel supply so that they can be bled drown if it's taking forever to then push through and move on. Anyway, tell me what your thoughts are. How do you feel about something like that? Using ants and their cortium supply and the way that they work to function in additional roles in the game. I'm very eager to hear what you have to say. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.